Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Apologies for the delay in content. Of course, the international break has been among us, and it is very close to finishing now. And as a lot of you guys will know, who have been watching the channel for a long time now, I'm not the biggest fan of of the international breaks. Sometimes it works in your favour, particularly when you're a Sunderland fan. And so many times, how many times have we seen Sunderland go into an international break on a bad run of form? Then you're almost thankful that you've got a little bit of a break from it. However, it's very rare that you go into an international break as a Sunderland fan, 4 wins from 4, absolutely flying, and it halts momentum, if anything. From the second it was the international break, I'm just thinking, okay, we really need to get ourselves back in the pitch here, because it can halt momentum, and particularly when we're up against Plymouth next, who have had a pretty poor start to the season, still winless. It would have been an ideal time to play them when we're still absolutely flying, momentum's up, tails up and all that kind of stuff. But now it gives them time to kind of sit back, look over themselves, look at themselves in the mirror and sort of get themselves sort of together and try and hit the ground running again from their perspective anyway. So but either way, it's one of them. What do you guys think of the international break? I know that I always moan about it. I'm just one of them. I just really couldn't care less, particularly when it's either friendlies. I know it has to be done, of course I do, but I just really don't care. I'm massively club over country, particularly with this like Nations League. I just have zero care for it whatsoever since it come to fruition not too long ago. Don't give a shit about it whatsoever. Even if it was in like the semis or the final, I don't know what it is. I just don't really care. I can't force myself to get into something I don't give a shit about, if that makes sense. Of course, with other competitions, with Euros or World Cup, a little bit, but even then, it's just I'm not anywhere near as arse as I am with club. That'll be an interesting conversation or an interesting topic anyway in the comments down below if you guys want to have a chat about that. For me, I just don't really care. I understand the reasoning behind it all, just don't care. But anyway, we're going to get into the video. What the video today is going to be basically me going over our transfer business over the summer. I thought I'd give it a bit of time anyway, let the dust settle, particularly with the whole Jack Clark debacle where a lot of people were still sort of seething, the people who were annoyed about it anyway. I wanted that to calm down a little bit, let at least a week settle, so we can just look at it head on and not look at it with just pure emotion. So I want to kind of have a look at it, and then of course we'll go on to the Plymouth game. We'll touch upon that as well, which of course I will return this weekend. We do go to Plymouth away from home. But yeah, so we're going to have a look here. I've got a list here that I'm going to be glancing at and using that as reference. But we'll have a look at the outgoings first. So of course we've got Jack Clark, which is the big one we discussed. It isn't ideal to lose your best player. However, I expected it personally. I said it for months prior that I expect him to leave. Again, isn't ideal because it was right at the back end of the window. But I don't want any player to be playing for the club that doesn't want to be playing for Sunderland. And if Jack Clark has made his wishes known to the club that if a certain offer comes, I want to leave. I don't care how good you are. If you're not really in it and you don't want to be wearing red and white anymore, then go elsewhere. And that's not me wishing bad upon Jack Clark. It's just my thoughts. No one's bigger than the club. If you want to go elsewhere, fair play. You've done very well, Jack. All the best. But we move on. Sunderland moves forward without Jack Clark. End of story. And that is what's been happening. Jack Clark left. We continue to win. Things, we move on. We move on. That's it. End of story. But of course, Bradley Dack left as well. Jack Diamond, Ellis Taylor, Elliot Embleton, which was a sad one. Elliot Embleton for me. I did think, I keep on saying this, there's definitely a player in there. I think he would have value within the squad, but with his horrendous injury record and his contract running out, I think it would only be fair to Elliot for him to try and get the best opportunity to get game time. And in League One, and with Blackpool, a club that he knows very well anyway, it was a perfect situation and scenario for him. So I totally understand that. So he's gone for an undisclosed fee there. Lewis Semedo, which was a massive one, him here, a huge confusion around it. I totally understand why he's gone. I still stand by the fact I think there is somehow a player in there. I think his work ethic is just horrendous as a young striker, but he's somehow managed to get himself a move to the Juventus next gen side. I don't know who or how they scout at Juventus, but I can't imagine they did too much scouting on Lewis Semedo for him to go there. But again, wish him all the best. As I said, even last season when we first brought him in, there's a player in there, but I felt like we managed him quite badly at first. But then as soon as he came out of the squad, I feel like his work ethic was horrible. Even when you watch him in the reserves, he looks out of place in the reserves at times. He's just wandering around. But then every now and then he'll pop up with a few nice touches or a shot from distance, which in this pre-season, he managed to smash one for 30 yards in the top corner or top bins. And then he'll have another chance where he will come on in a competitive game and he'll strike it from distance and you think, Jesus, what a fucking shot this lad's got on him. and the bravery to take it for such a young lad as well. So there are little things in there where I think there is a player in there, but if he just had this work ethic where he would press high and really ran for the team, he could have been an outstanding player. But let's just put it bluntly, he's a bit of a lazy bastard, in my opinion, and that's why he's moved on. Again, how the hell he's got the golden ticket to Juventus is way beyond me, but all the best to him. I don't know whether that's because we didn't even really announce it, I don't think, as a club. It was just the Juventus Next Gen side tweeted it, essentially saying that they brought in Luis Amia, they brought Luis Amido, and that was pretty much it. There was very little detail, so I'm not entirely sure what that is. I think it might be a loan with a future fee, or sort of like a definite transfer at the end of the loan, or it is a total transfer. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. It was quite a confusing situation. I think it might just be a straight up transfer, which I wouldn't be against either. Alex Bass, of course, he's gone out to Notts County. Pierre Eckwa, the loan deal, he went out to Saint Etienne in France. And with Eckwa, again, this was a difficult one because as a squad player, you can't get too much better because on his day, he is a Rolls Royce of a player in the middle. But when you've got Chris Rigg, Dan Neil, Alan Brown coming in as ahead of him. Job is now doing very well in the middle. He looks outstanding at the moment. You've already got 4 players ahead of you, and he was just rapidly falling down the pecking order at Sunderland. So I don't blame him going to France, and it's a good side for him to go to as well. And I believe that's a loan with a fee on the end of it, a permanent transfer at the end. I don't know if it's their option or they have to. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember now. But yeah, it's a good move for him, and I'm not totally against it. It would have been nice to get a straight-up fee. I'm sure we'll get a fee at the end of it anyway, as well as a loan fee, so it's not like we don't get anything for it. But yeah, I totally understand the loan deal for Eckwa. Pembele, he's gone out as well on loan to Le Havre. He's also gone back to France. He's just looked terrible, hasn't he? He come up with the promise of playing from PSG. We just thought we had this attacking fullback, and he looked like he had the mould of a really exciting player, but I've never seen a right-back defence appall it, and we've seen some bad defenders, haven't we? Going forward at times, he can shine. You can see a little bit of pace, a little bit of like 1-2s and triangles here and there, but then his end product going forward is pretty poor, and then he's just absolutely all over the place in terms of his defensive positioning. It is absolutely abysmal. So I can totally understand that as well, and if we get a fee in the end of that, that's a bonus. You've got Nathan Bishop, who's gone out on loan to League One club Wycombe, which is a good move for him. He needs to get some game time. Jay Matete on loan to Bolton. I believe that's got a transfer on the end of it as well. Triantis goes back to Hibs, where he's been playing in a role of centre mid there, which I know he played there last season as well, and he apparently started very, very well there. I think he's only had 1 game, but even so, apparently he looked absolutely fantastic. And I sent a handful of highlights from him there, and he looked absolutely outstanding. So maybe Nexa has a future at centre mid with Sunderland, because as a 6'3", 6'4", big lad, strong lad, decent with his feet. That's a very good option to have. So if he manages to push himself, and really improve himself, and as a centre mid as well, that's a fantastic option. I'd be quite excited to see how he would play there as maybe a holding midfielder, but even in the sort of short highlights I've seen of him with Hibs, he gets forward and he likes to get forward, and he's very good on the ball, and I think he's starting to consider himself as a midfielder as well, so be interesting to see his development over there. Corey Evans, of course, we let his contract run out, which was fair enough. It would have taken over a year plus to get him back to business and back to fitness anyway, because of his massive injury record. It was sad to see him go because, of course, he was club captain for a while, but it was definitely the right move. But now we'll have a look at the sort of incomings, because outgoings, I'd probably give that a good sort of 6.5 out of 10, because of course it probably would have been a bit higher had we kept Jack Clark, but I think those are all the right players that I believe that I think we needed to get rid of. Dewey would have been nice to get a loan deal. That isn't detailed. Did he actually go out on loan? I don't think he did he? In the end. But yeah, I think Dewey looked like he was set up to be going out on loan to Reading, but that fell through. So it would have been ideal to get him a loan move away. But in terms of incomings, of course, we've got Milan Alexic. We know very little about him. Central midfielder, more so in the sort of attacking areas like a 10 role. I don't know whether he can play off the wings as well, sort of inside forward. But we paid over 3 million for him, so there must be a player in there. And straight after signing for him, he got called up for his national team as well. So again, as a 19-year-old, apparently there's a lot of high, big teams, looking around at him and searching for his signature, and we managed to get him. So again, a bit of an unknown entity, but Will it come off? We shall see. We always piss and moan, or a lot of fans moan about us not spending money. There must be a player in there if we're spending over 3 million for the lad. Do you know what I mean? And again, similar situation with, is it Ahmed Abdullahi or Abdullahi? I'm not too sure how you pronounce it. The young striker from Ghent, we played for just over 3 million as well. For him, again, totally unknown entity. Even when you look for footage, they look very amateur sort of footage. It almost looks like Sunday League from what he's playing, and he looks decent, quick, decent little finisher. But there's very little footage around about that lad, so I couldn't tell you anything whether I think that's good or not. Very much an unknown entity again. And of course, we've got Wilson Isidore as well, who is a striker. There's a lot of argument about that online the other week. He is a natural striker. However, I believe his best form in recent years was on the wing, although he has played sort of 60-70% of his games as a striker and scored plenty of goals as he has on the wing as well. But I think when Mayenda is maybe due to come off, or someone on the wing is playing well, it's quite nice for him to have that sort of interchanging factor there. Whereas like the other day, or last game when he come on, we put him on the wing because Mayenda was doing well, so we just didn't want to bring him off. Because Mayenda, like I say, when Mayenda is on form and is playing well, you can quite happily appease Isidore by sticking him out on the wing, and it's a very good option as well. They look very bright there, aggressive, quick and strong. I like to see that. But yeah, say for example, if Mayenda is having a bit of a shit game, with half an hour left, bring Isidore on, or if he's in a bit of a bad run of form, we have an extra striker to stick in there, and he has played there. So I think that's a fantastic little signing there. And I already love his personality as well, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen. He seems to be loving the fact he's at Sunderland. He really gets the fans riled up, and he's just loving life, and he seems to have that infectious, positive personality, which is only a positive to have around the club anyway. Alan Brown. Now this, for me, I think is our best signing, hands down. And I was having this conversation with someone the other day. I think if Alan Brown was 5 years younger and we paid 10 million for him, everyone would shut the fuck up about Sunderland not paying any money, because that would have been, no one would bat an eyelid. Everyone would say that's an outstanding signing if we paid 10 million and he were 5 years younger. He's played that well and looks that good. And I'm not just going over the top. I'm obviously creating a scenario and a narrative, but I think that is, everyone will be happy with that. No one would bat an eyelid, because a lot of fans just want to see you spend money. I think we obviously need the balance, which is a different argument for a different day. But with Alan Brown, I think he looks that good. It's not just, I think a lot of people, as I've mentioned or some people anyway, in previous videos I've mentioned it, whereas because of his age, he is 29 years of age, and a central midfielder, a lot of people just associate an ageing or an experienced midfielder with a sort of sitting holding role. He's not that kind of player. He is box to box, and every time he gets it, he's so positive. He drags us up the pitch at times. He's good in the tackle as well if he needs to be. He's so comfortable on the ball. His passing is accurate. And like I say, every time he gets the ball, he wants to just drive us up the field. And he's so good at doing that. And I do kind of wish he was 5 years younger, because then I'd give him a 7-year contract. I rate him that much. But yeah, for 29 years of age, free transfer, that's an absolute bargain. I think that is the signing of the window for me. I'm not saying with Ian Pervader. To be fair, I don't know whether I'm correct in saying this, but when I did see him come on, he didn't look that bad. He had a bit of trickery. He's a bit of a shithouse, but he looks a bit stocky. I don't know whether he's put a bit of weight on, or that's just his sort of build. I'm not too sure, but I don't remember him looking as, not chubby, but he did look like he had a bit of a gut on him when he come on. But I don't know whether that's just his build, as I say. Could be wrong, or his sort of posture, if that makes sense. But a few people pulled that up online as well when I noticed when he come on. Anyway, that's an exciting one as well. Free transfer, tricky play. If you get him going and you keep him injury free, an excellent option out wide. So we've got plenty of wingers now to fulfil different roles. Simon Moore, goalkeeper, we needed that anyway, and particularly this one, he's probably going to go under the radar a little bit, but Simon Moore is an experienced keeper, which we didn't have. We just had a load of young goalkeepers at the club, and even just for someone in the background, again, it's a free transfer, he's got experience, he can use his knowledge in his head to really get behind Patterson, and of course we've got the next one I was going to speak about as well. Blondie from Stoke City as well, another young goalkeeper. So when you've got Patterson, you've got Blondie there, and you've got an experienced one, it's a good mix, and you need that sort of goalkeeping union as well, don't you? So I really rate that signing. Now, another sort of final day of the transfer deadline day signing was Salis Abdul Samid. He's one who I was very excited about. He does look like a real Rolls Royce of a central midfielder. He had an outstanding season with Lons a couple of seasons ago, stuck out like a sore thumb. There's footage of seen him playing against PSG, and he absolutely played him off the park. He was that good. But obviously last season, Lons in general didn't have a great season, but he looked absolutely outstanding. I think if we get him going as well, and we're speaking about Pierre Ekwah not being able to get a game of centre mid. You've got Samid there now, Rigg, Brown, obviously Job, Dhannoo. That's 5. He would have been 6th in the pecking order pretty much. Ekwah, but this Samid looks very, very good. He's going to have to bide his time, as are a lot of players when we're playing so well. But I'm very excited to see him as a defensive midfielder, a holding midfielder as well. If we do need to play that kind of game, where we do need to try and control possession, control the tempo of the play, he's ideal to have just in front of the defence. Another one which I didn't expect at all, but what a signing it is on loan from Bournemouth, Chris Mepham as well. Plenty of experience. He's very well liked and loved at Bournemouth, but he did just fall down the pecking order a little bit. He is just sort of typical, sort of no-nonsense centre-back. However, he can play with his feet. He's quite comfortable at the ball, but he's a big lad, which I like to see. As you guys know, I like my centre-backs to be 6'3", big brick shit houses. I love my old-school centre-backs, although I do know now in the modern era, you do need to be able to hold the ball in pressured situations and keep the ball on the ground, and he can do that, but it is just another option. The amount of injuries we get defensively is an absolutely outstanding option. But that is all of the transfer window. So if I had to give that the incomings, I'd probably give that a sort of 7 out of 10 maybe. It could be improved, of course it could. So I think on the whole, I'd probably give the whole transfer window maybe a 6.75 out of 10. If Jack Clark didn't go, or we brought in another striker maybe, if someone a bit more proven, I would have given it like an 8.59. I would have been fine with that. But I am quite happy with it. So that is my sort of thoughts. I'm just going through everything. I know I've just sort of reeled them off and just spoke at you, but I thought I'd just give you my opinions on it all. So I think that is pretty much all the incomings and outgoings. I might have missed something from this list. I might have something that's probably just gone straight past me here, but there's just a lot of names to go through, isn't there? But yeah, so briefly we'll just touch upon this weekend, taking on Plymouth away from home. As I alluded to at the beginning of the video, I'm a little bit nervy in terms of course, we've got this international break. Rooney's managed to get it, probably regroup them a little bit. I know he's a bit of a meme at the moment in terms of an actual manager and as an actual coach. He doesn't have a great record, and it would just be absolutely typical for Sunderland to win 4 from 4, have the international break, go to Rooney where everyone's taking the piss out of him because they can't win a game to save their life at the moment, and then we turn up and we get battered. And then, of course, every championship club from every corner of the country will start taking the piss out of Sunderland fans saying, oh, I thought you won the league after 4 games. I'm waiting for that to happen, but hopefully we keep our head down. We don't have too many injuries from international break. I know that Regis is going to be having his press conference shortly, I believe today or tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I think it might be today. So I don't know what the injury situation is like in terms of internationals. But I do think we have the strength in depth at the moment to deal with whatever's thrown at us. But yeah, we shall see. Hopefully we do get the win. I was having a discussion the other day. I've just got a feeling, maybe not this weekend, we might well win, even a draw, and we might well not win, but at some point we're going to lose. And I've just got this horrible sinking feeling. Maybe it's just me being a Sunderland fan and having my Sunderland fan ways after supporting the club for so many years. I've just got this feeling that when we do have a dip or we do lose, the dip is going to be gargantuan and it's going to be huge, and we might end up doing 3-4 games losing on the bounce, and that's why we need to really show our mettle there. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'm just waiting for that one banana skin to then fold into a domino effect. But can we set a world record, a club record, 5 wins from 5? I'm pretty sure the opening 4 was already a record, but I'm hoping for a win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Sunderland win. But yeah, I think I've just got that little bit of scepticism, which, that's what happens whenever something happy or positive happens with Sunderland. You always expect a negative to follow, but hopefully not. But that is everything, guys. I know it's just been a massive ramble at you. Thought I'd just give you my little opinion on everything there. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you are new. Again, there's still so many of you guys that are watching regularly. You're watching full videos and you're not subscribed. It means the world. Please do. And smash the like button if you've made it this far. If you've made it this far, hit the like button. It shows that you're enjoying the videos and enjoying the content. But anyway, take care. Enjoy your afternoon. Stay jammy.